Hi everyone. I'm just about to release a music video out into the world, and it's of a song that I wrote quite a few years ago called Autumn Winds. So I just felt like I wanted to share the story of inspiration behind the song and why I wrote it.
Leaves are falling all around me, scattering from every tree. And like the leaves, your love surrounds.
I'm going to take you back a few years to when I was a teenager. I did really well in school, worked hard, to the point that actually I developed quite a striving nature and always wanted to sort of be the best that I could. I had a blessed childhood. I am so thankful for the input and education that I received as a child, but I do recognise now that during especially my late teen years, I really did push myself hard, and during sixth form study I would say I sort of hit a wall really, a bit of burnout I guess, the point where I'd pushed myself mentally hard enough that I was completely too stressed out, and had really kind of built up this identity of being somebody that always achieved well, always got great results, and to the point where I felt like that was expected of me all the time.
Though these autumn winds may blow, here within my heart I know.
I went to university at the age of 19 and lasted there for a total of 3 weeks. I was really down, really fidgety, not able to sleep. And it was then that was kind of the time of my life of sinking into depression, I guess. I ended up coming home from university, and I was so thankful to have a job in early 20s, and had some good work experience, but all the time had this battle with the thought that I'm not good enough, I am not achieving my potential, I'm not achieving what society wants me to achieve. And during that time I would have times when I'd get really down and really anxious because that striving nature had sort of formed this pattern of anxiety. I remember on some days when I wasn't feeling good, I would go out in my local area on my own for a walk, probably quite like lots of us are doing right now in lockdown. It's one of the only things we're allowed to do, isn't it? Go out for a walk. It was on one of these walks that I remember I'd be talking to God, and because that's all prayer is, I believe, just talking to God, telling him what is bothering us, and having our hearts and minds and ears open to hear from him as well, and thanking him for things. So I would make myself thank God for the good things in my life and also just tell him how I was feeling. And I remember one time going for a walk, and it was autumn, and I was kicking the leaves around, and I've always loved autumn and the colours, and sometimes when I'm out and about, that's when songs will start to come to mind, and I start to sing things out to God, and almost like a prayer from my heart. And in this instance, I found myself starting to sing about the trees, which were all losing their leaves, and I started to sing about how in autumn the winds would blow and the leaves would scatter, and the trees would end up really bare and empty with no fruit left to show, no sort of life left to show. They just seem really dead all through the winter months. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like in our country, with the dark nights and short days and short hours of daylight, that winter just seems to go on for ages.
The trees are bare and grey and empty, the swirling wind the only sound.
But the trees while they seem like they're dead and there's nothing going on there, actually there is stuff going on underneath, within the tree, in its roots, inside it, because in springtime it'll start to bear fruit again. Flowers and blossom will open, and towards the summer, fruit will start to appear on the trees.
Seasons come and seasons go.
There's a psalm, Psalm 1 in the Old Testament of the Bible, that says, it's the very first psalm, it says, "Blessed is the one whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, that bears its fruit in season, and its leaf does not wither, and whatever he does prospers." I was struck by the line, "and bears its fruit in season." In season. At that time in my life, in my early 20s, where I felt like things were stagnant, nothing was going on, I felt like I wasn't achieving the potential that people had told me that I could, and I felt powerless to kind of rise from where I was, or to have a vision for where I was going. But then I read this psalm and it says, if I delight in the law of the Lord and meditate on his word, on his law day and night, I will be like a tree that's planted by streams of water, that will bear its fruit in season. And that felt like a season of hibernation for me, but I was able to draw hope from it that a season of fruitfulness would come again. And during those years, gradually, and I'm still learning it now, I started to reshape my identity and where it came from. I know now that my identity is not in what I achieve, or what I do, or the labels that society puts on my life. It's great to have goals, it's great to achieve these things in life, but it's not, as a Christian, it's not where my identity comes from. So all of that went into this song, Autumn Winds.
Then nothing can take me from your side, 'cause your love's too deep, too high, too wide.
Just before I go, there's another scripture that is related to this story, and it's in John 15. It's where Jesus is talking about the vine and the branches, and he says, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener." And then later on, "Remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself, it must remain in the vine." Then it says, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit." Reading through all of this passage of the vine and the branches, I was reminded of sort of a picture of who God is, and Jesus being the vine, our Father in heaven being the gardener, as it says here. Or in some translations, I believe it says the vine dresser. And if I'm a branch attached to Jesus, who is the vine, if I just keep clinging on to him, the Father who's the gardener and the vine dresser that walks round the vineyard, dressing the vine, preparing it to bear fruit. If I'm a branch on that vine that just clings onto the vine, I am going to bear fruit, not of myself, but from the vine, from Jesus himself. And I just think that's such a powerful image, and it just brought me so much hope.
Your unfailing love remains, with the power to bring new life again.
So I hope that encourages you today in some way, and that's the story behind the song Autumn Winds. I hope you enjoy it, and God bless everyone. Speak to you soon.